Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today we are going to be doing our April budget, and I'm really excited because this month is going to be slightly different and it is also the first month of the second quarter. So let's actually go ahead and get right into it. The planner that I have here is the Erin Condren monthly planner. This is in the color blends design. Yeah, so let's go in. I still have to finish the March budget. I still have to do the week 3, week 4 in the results video. I am slightly behind for sure, but it is what it is. I normally would have filmed those videos first, but I have to use my husband's phone for those so I can show you guys the app that I use on my phone since I film with my phone. Anyway, okay, so I have my kit here. I have the whole entire Erin Condren monthly calendar kit, which is with the monthly and the date dots, then the dashboard, along with all 4 colors and the none spent. I don't have the bill dues with me because I don't use the bill dues, and I also have this green color, which is from the second design for April. This is the first design that I'm using, and this is the second design. I ended up going with the seashell one, though I did really like this color as well. This is like the first month I'm using only one of the designs. Usually I like to try to use both of them, but I wanted to see how it'd be if I just use one cohesively design. I don't know. This is what I just wanted to do for this month. Yeah, I really like the green color and I thought that it meshed well with this colorway, so I have that one here. And I'm realizing that this monthly view setup will be in a different video. I keep doing this, but that is going to be in a different video. But for this video, I have my budget kit, the version 1, which is 6 pages. I have the April budget, the weekly check-in, weekly balance, sinking funds transaction log, savings tracker, and the variable income. For the variable income savings tracker and the April budget, we will be setting this up in this video. In a different video, we will set up our sinking funds and transaction log together. And then of course, for our weekly check-in, we will be doing our weekly balance and weekly check-in together. So those would be in a separate video as well. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So for this month, I actually will be going through some of the numbers, more real numbers, because if you guys are familiar with my budget videos, you guys will probably know that I've been kind of contemplating and asking about disclosing more of our numbers. It's definitely been something that we've been contemplating for quite some time now, but I decided that we're just going to do a little bit at a time, just whatever we're comfortable with. And I really do appreciate all the feedback that you guys have been giving me as well. The support has been so amazing. But yeah, so okay, so for the April budget, we're going to now be in a new quarter, which means for this new quarter our numbers are slightly different, since you guys might know that we do the zero-based budgeting. So a lot of our numbers are the same every single month, since that's kind of what we set ourselves up for the first 3 months or for whatever quarter it is, and we will talk about that as well. So April budget, we have our general and we have our variable. Variable is like our extra, whatever extra funds that we do have. Normally I never tend to incorporate any variable like additional funds because it kind of messes up with the budget. And I only do it if it's like completely necessary, like we need it for something. But so far we haven't needed to add that. So variable would be at 0, and then our general will be at $5,200, which is what we budget every single month. And that's $5,200 for our income for the month of April. Now we have our little thin washi that I'm grabbing just to separate it out. And I only have one thin washi on this big sheet, so I will be grabbing another one from one of these additional sheets, probably from the variable income, to be honest. Now let's talk about where we're going to be getting all of the remaining numbers from. So in a previous video, I did set up the second quarter budget with you guys. We have our first quarter for January, February, and March, and then this is our second quarter for April, May, and June. And that's the little script there for this quarter, all of these numbers are multiplied by 3 since this is our budget for April, May, and June. For example, our budget for April and May and June is going to be $5,200 per month. That times 3 is $15,600. So these are all the numbers that we're getting. Essentially, this is what we set up for ourselves to stick to for the next 3 months. So if we do need to change or something because one of our numbers changes, or we needed more money for gas or something, or our electricity is going to be more for over the summertime, anything like that, we're able to adjust it the next quarter. And for our first quarter budget, I will be wrapping this up, and this will be another video coming out later this month, eventually at some point. But yeah, so this is just where the numbers are that we are getting them from. And if you're curious about those numbers, I did kind of do like a step-by-step of the numbers in that video of how we calculated them together. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just lay out the rest of these numbers here so we can set up the next 2 pages together. For this month, the other things that will be slightly different is for our savings. I will be sharing more of the numbers with you guys, along with for our income. I will be giving you guys the real numbers for my income. But yeah, so let's do our variable budget. This section that we're about to do is kind of like our day-to-day expenses. It's the ones that I always say if we were to use cash, these would be my cash envelopes, but we do not use cash. We always use credit cards for everything. So the first one is going to be for eating out, and this one our budget is going to be $300. Then we have groceries. This one the budget is $400. These two normally don't change, but we have gas next, and for this one we are bumping it up for this next quarter to $125. This is mainly because I feel like we've been going out a lot more often, so we've been needing to use and pump more gas. The next one that we have is allowance, and this one we adjusted to $75. And the main reason why is because I wanted to kind of keep this overall budget at $1,000, so I ended up taking out $25 from our allowance budget and adding it to the gas. Last but not least, we have our pups and our baby Bean, and this one is still at $100 per month. Now we're going to put the total for this below down here, and okay, so the total with all of these added up is going to be $1,000. So 300 plus 400 plus 125, 75, 100. The total is $1,000 that we will need for our day-to-day expenses in this top variable section. Next, we have our fixed section over here, and these are the numbers that won't change because these are getting delegated somewhere else. The first one is sinking funds. Our budget for sinking funds this month is $950. Well, our budget for the next 3 months is going to be $950 to stuff our sinking funds. And the next one is Ally, and this is for our external savings account. This is like our long-term savings account, and we are going to be transferring $100 to that account. The total with these two numbers combined is going to be $1,050 that we will need for our fixed budget for the month of April. All right, so those two look good so far. Now let's do all of our bills. I'm just gonna grab this thin wash sheet, and then I'm gonna separate this section out. So this bottom section is where I put all of our bills, all of our variable and fixed bills, because we have a bunch of bills. Okay, so we have our variable bills, which are the bills that do change every single month. Even if it's by a penny, it alters a lot. And then we have our fixed bills that do not change, or they're, well, at least they're not supposed to change. And let's start with our fixed ones. So we have, first one is mortgage. Our mortgage for every single month for the next 3 months is going to be $2,222. Then we have our internet. This is now back over here. For the first quarter of the year, this was in our variable because I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be because it did change on us, but it is, or hopefully it will stay at $89.99. Then we have our student loans for mine, and then for my husband's, mine is $180.06, his is $180.31. These are gonna probably change when student loans continue. These are just the numbers that we've been sticking to, and yeah, so that is those two. Then we have Netflix and Spotify. Both of these, they're both the same, which is at $10.59. And then we have HOA and HBO. HOA is going to be $80.66, and then HBO will be $16.95. HBO ended up increasing on us as well. If you guys have watched my, I think, what was it, the second week check-in? I believe it was second week check-in that we talked about this. The 5 is very ugly. But that is what that looks like so far. These are all of our fixed ones. And the total for all of our fixed bills is going to be $2,791.15 for all of our fixed bills. Next, we will do our variable bills. For our variable bills, the first one that we have is going to be for utilities gas. So put U gas for utilities. Then we have a utilities electric. For utilities gas, we were estimating the same as the first quarter, which is at 100. I feel like for the first quarter of the year, 100 was not enough. But I think for this next quarter, hopefully it should be enough. So I figured I might as well just keep it the same, and hopefully we don't keep going negative. The next one we have is mobile. And mobile is budgeted at $180. And then also for utilities electric, we decided to keep it at $70 per month. And again, for these numbers, we did calculate them together, or kind of like try to track the pattern together. When we did our second quarter check-in, we based a lot of these estimated numbers off of our last few years of bills, just to see if there's any patterns of when it's more expensive and whenever it's kind of lower. But of course, that was in that second quarter budget setup video. Last but not least, we have our holder. And if you guys know, I like to have this holder category just to make the estimated full amount that we need for all of our bills to be an even number. It's just easier for me to remember. But the total for all of these variable bills combined is going to be $358.85. So that is the total that we'll need for all of the variable bills. Now to talk about the estimate for bills. And then of course your actual that we will put at the end of the month. So for the estimated amount that we need for bills is going to be the $358.85 plus the $2,791.15. Both of these numbers combined means we need a total of $3,150 to pay all of our bills for the month of April. So as long as we have this number, all of our bills will be taken care of. And of course, the ones above, these are the ones that we can always kind of like adjust and play around with the numbers if we need to, if we ever need more money for bills. But let me draw the lines and I'll be right back. So the lines are all down, and I have I think I always put this in the savings, right? I don't even remember. But I have these little icons here. I'm just gonna like scatter them around. And this is actually going to be our April budget. So that's kind of it for this portion of the video. Let's move on to the next one. The next one we're going to do is going to be for our variable income. For our variable income, I am going to, okay, let's just lay this down first, and then when we fill it out, we'll talk about it together. I really love this washi. This is actually one of the most popular washi's for the year so far. So I'm glad that you guys are really enjoying this one too. It's just so pretty. Like, I haven't gone to the beach in a really long time, but it makes me think of the beach and kind of like a morning seaside weather. Okay, so this is going to be for the variable income. I know, of course, a lot of ways to use the variable income, but for us, we put everything, like any type of income that we have. I like to put it here just to keep track of everything, because sometimes we get paid overtime, or if we get like a bonus or something, because we are hourly, we are not salary paid. Why can't I talk right now? We are not salary paid. Okay, well, I hope that was good enough. But yeah, so our amounts do change sometimes, so I like to keep track of our paychecks in here, since it is also mine and my husband's. And also I do want to add in here for this month that we got, or I am going to redeem our cash rewards. I like to redeem our cash rewards with you guys, so you guys see how much we get in redemptions, since we do always use our credit card for everything. But let's lay down the paychecks first. So just to make sure, I don't think, okay, I never finished my mini months when I set these up with you guys on camera. I don't even know when I set these up, but for the month of April, it is just a normal 4 paychecks. And our sewer comes out. Car insurance is going to be coming out. I don't know what day. So blue symbolizes like sinking fund bills, because car insurance, sewer, they're all in sinking funds. And I usually put the date here for whatever day it's supposed to come out, but I don't know when car insurance comes out. Okay, so I got a little sidetracked there because I only wanted to look at the paychecks, but it looks like I ended up looking at the other things that are going on for the month. Okay, so I wrote down all of our different paychecks. We have 4 paychecks for this month, and then I also wrote for the cash rewards, since we will be redeeming that today as well. For all of our income for the month of April, this will be our budget for the month of May. So any income that comes in for whatever current month it is, I always put it in our short-term savings, so it can be our budget for the following month. And I definitely do talk about that more so in our weekly check-ins, but if you guys are curious, I will have a video link below talking about our different checking accounts and saving accounts. So right now, this is behind. This is from after we budgeted for week 2, but essentially all of the income that came in for the month of March is our budget for the month of April. The only reason why I like to do that is because it's just easier for when we start the month. We already have all of the funds ready. So for example, this $5,200, we already have that in our account. So we're able to delegate it wherever it needs to go. And then we can also pay our bills without having to worry if we have enough or not. So it's just, this is just the way that really, really works for us. So it's been working out really well. But alrighty, so for our incomes, our variable incomes, I will be getting paid first. So you guys probably know that we always budget $1,300 per paycheck for both me and my husband. And this is how we're able to make up to the $5,200, since every paycheck we always add $1,300. For cash rewards, I'm putting 0 here because I like for the amount to be completely the amount we're budgeting for, which is $5,200 every single month. Whatever additional that we end up getting, I transfer that directly over to our savings account. So that's kind of what works for us. It's kind of like another way to force ourselves to save. Okay, so as for the paychecks, this is like the real numbers part. So for my paychecks, every time that I get paid, it's around $1,530. So $1,530-ish. Sometimes it's usually like, I don't know, like 38, 37 is some change. But I always keep like the remaining amount for myself. Like, so the 30 something dollars, I usually keep for myself in my personal checking account. It's just for me to have a little bit of money to like spend on my husband, and we don't have to kind of like, the numbers aren't shared, so we don't really see how much is spent. That means that I really truly just budget $1,500. So the actual for me is usually always around $1,500 is what I really account for. So that remaining amount is $200. So that means every time that I get paid, I transfer over an additional $200 into our long-term savings, which is at Ally. So that is kind of an example of what I like to do with this. Of course, if I didn't save that extra 30 something dollars, I would put it in here and I'll do the same exact thing where I'll transfer the whole amount over to our long-term savings. But this is kind of just what works for us. And now for the cash rewards. For the cash rewards, we have a little over $100, but I just like to keep simple, straightforward numbers. So we're going to, I wrote that in the wrong area, but we're going to redeem $100 for our cash rewards. And of course, that is the extra. So we're going to also transfer that over to our long-term savings account as well. I think the last time we redeemed was back in January. So that was around $170. So in 3 months, we're able to redeem another 100, which is really nice. That is going to be it for this variable income aspect, but I am going to go ahead and just put these little dots down, since these I like to use to fill out, like if there's anything going on for the month I need to jot down, like if we do anything with any of the funds that I want to kind of mark. And I can show you guys last month as an example, of course. But I don't always end up using this portion down here, but it is definitely really nice and convenient to have in case I do need to. So for example, for the month of March, we had an extra paycheck, but we ended up using it for my husband's like voucher and exam questions and stuff. And then I ended up transferring whatever remaining we didn't use to emergency fund. But yeah, so I kind of like writing down here what happens with any of our variable income. Yeah, so that is it for our variable income. Now let's talk about our savings. For our savings, we are going to set that up as well. I'm going to move this sticker over here. So this one is now done. And then for our savings tracker, I do want to also share with you guys some numbers as well. I feel like it's just very convenient because if I don't share the numbers, I realize I never end up going back to fill out the numbers anyway. And I really do like being able to look back on numbers, especially when I can see the change and see things growing. It's really rewarding, honestly. But okay, so we have our savings tracker. Let's see. This savings tracker I used to use to track all of our different saving accounts, but now I use it mainly for our long-term savings, which is at Ally. For Ally, if you guys have ever banked with them, you guys will know that they have a feature where you can split up all of your funds into different saving account categories or different buckets. For those buckets, I like to keep track in here because I really do love that tool. So it's really convenient because instead of having to have different saving accounts or kind of manually remember which account is where, I'm able to keep track of them with this feature. And I think the maximum of buckets you're allowed to have is 10. I think I do have actually all 10 categories as well. Let's see, I'm gonna put this little sticker. Okay, this one is done. I think I'm just gonna keep this here because I always forget where I end up putting this little dot. But what was I saying? So yeah, I think I have all 10 categories maxed out. Luckily, I don't need more than that. I didn't ever think I was gonna need all 10, but it turns out it's really convenient. I mean, I guess whatever happens, I can always just kind of break it up and just keep track of it in here if I don't have enough of the buckets, but having the buckets is definitely very convenient. So those are going to be for those little dots. Let me split up this last section. Okay, and then we're going to finish off this savings tracker little washi. I think in the future, I might need to space out these less because I feel like the transaction log, I'm starting to utilize it even more so now that I'm actually filling it out on camera with you guys. But all right, so that looks good. This is the last of that sheet. Let me draw out the lines real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so this is what it's looking like so far. Now let's fill out each category. So the first one is going to be for Sivapoly. And for this one, usually I like to put like a goal, but this one doesn't have a goal because we're just trying to save as much as we can for Saveopoly. So this one doesn't have a goal at the moment, and that means there is no percentage to that goal either. But in here for Saveopoly, we currently have $826.04. This is kind of like what we ended with for March as well. For Saveopoly, we did our February rolls for our Saveopoly rolls in the back, and that was $826.04. So we're kind of just ending with the same thing, or starting the month with the same thing. Now for our next one, we have emergencies. For our emergency funds, our goal is going to be at $12,500. And where we got this number is we set up our emergency funds for the year of 2023 together, and we are going to try to save 3 months worth of emergencies. So that's around like 12,500, but that is where that number came from. Right now in here, our amount that we're at is at $8,079.93. So that is 64% of the way to our goal, which is really nice. 64%, and it is April. This is a big thanks to our tax returns. So I also did a video on our tax returns and how whatever we got, we did end up putting in our emergency funds, which is really nice. But the next category we have is for Bean, which is our daughter. This one used to be kind of like a savings for our medical bills, but it now is converted to just her savings for, I guess, her life. So far we have, okay, so I wrote the wrong thing in the wrong area, but our goal, we actually don't have a goal for this either, because we're just going to try to save whatever we can when we can. But the amount in here so far is $2,220. This is a mixture of what we have, like some of the stuff that we have saved for her, along with like family members, like for her birthday and stuff. We put that in here as well. Anything that is for her is put in here, and there's no percentage since there's no goal, but that is what the third category or the third bucket is. And all of these amounts combined is how much we have in this long-term saving accounts. It's just I like to break things down even further so I can have like every dollar designated towards something, if that makes sense. But the next category we have is for pups. This one, the goal for them is at $1,500. And this goal is at 100%, which is really nice. I think this is like our only one that is at 100%, but the amount in there is 1,500 as well. So we're 100% towards that goal for our pups category, for like medical bills or anything like unexpected that happens. I have a sinky funds for them too, but this is just like those emergency things, because if something happens, hopefully we never need to use it, but we have that there. Our next one is our home category. This used to be for like anything that has to do with our whole house, like if we have to replace something, or I don't really know what to expect because this is our first time having our home, so I don't really know how much is a good amount. But right now our goal is at 15,000, because we also have this kind of like to start off with saving for a down payment for our next house as well, which is going to be down the line, but like we want to just be able to start at some place. For this one, the amount in here we have at $2,000. So that is at 13% to the goal, but it's something. So we're definitely going to slowly start building this up eventually in the future. Next we have is for vehicle. In my little notes right here, I have vehicle, but it's for a new car. We have one car currently, but we might need a bigger one if we do have another child. But the goal for this one is $25,000, and the reason why is because we need to have enough to be able to make a large down payment, so the monthly payments are less. It's just I don't know if we'll be able to afford like having like a $400-500 monthly car payment, but that is the goal. And right now for this one, the amount in there is currently at $2,500. This is at 10% towards that goal. Next we have is vacations. This one, the goal is at $5,000 for a vacation for our whole family, and the amounts in here is at $3,000, and this is at 60% to that goal of 5,000. Then we have other. This is the one that I will be keeping private because we have some additional categories and stuff that I just don't, or at least I'm not ready to share yet. Maybe in the future, but as of right now, this section over here for all of the remaining categories, along with kind of like the floating funds that haven't been designated yet, I will be keeping under this one. But that is going to be it for the savings portion, and I think that's actually going to be it for this in general. Yes, I believe so. As we make transfers and stuff to our savings accounts, like that $100 and stuff, I will be, of course, doing that on camera with you guys in probably one of the weekly check-ins. But this is what everything looks like so far, and this is just how I've been liking breaking down my long-term savings, which is our long-term savings here. This is kind of like the one that we try never to touch. We've been growing our savings for many years now. It's just savings has been something that's really important to me for forever. But yes, that is our long-term savings, and then we have our short-term savings, which of course again is the ones that we'll talk about in our, I think, our results video for March, and along with our weekly check-in for April. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if I missed anything. But yeah, thank you guys so much as always for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you guys the next time. Bye!